10-man Blackburn Rovers are in freefall after they lose their 4th game in a row up against high flyers Middlesbrough. We'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, this time looking back at Blackburn Rovers' latest defeat up against Middlesbrough at Ewood Park, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe and keep your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, world football related. We're going to all here under one roof. Now let's take a look at the nitty gritty at Ewood Park. 13,249 people in attendance to watch the 1-0 defeat up against Middlesbrough, who will now, I think, get themselves into back into top 5 after yesterday's results. But the only goal of the game was, of course, Brit Assombalonga. Yes, that's right. The man we were linked with, albeit fleetingly, in the transfer window, scored the only goal on the 19th minute. In a game which actually was very, very one-sided, heavily in favour of Middlesbrough in the first half when it was 11 men versus 11. But it got even worse for Rovers when Derrick Williams was sent off just before the stroke of half-time to make things pretty much a monster struggle for Rovers if they're going to get anything out of this game. But we didn't look at it. We didn't look at the races whatsoever. In fact, we looked quite lucky to be only 1-0 down at half-time. But I was confident, I was optimistic at least, that maybe we could do a Middlesbrough themselves, because when we played them at the reverse fixture, it was a bit of a deja vu effect. Then, I think they had Mo Besic sent off in that game, went 1-0 down, but they fought themselves back again to make it 1-1. So I was hoping that we could do the same, but really, despite a rejuvenated Rovers in the second half, with 3 substitutes coming on, we couldn't find that missing ingredient and getting the ball in the back of the net. But we did have a couple of opportunities. Graham and Dack both having probably the best of the bunch. In fact, Dack's probably should have gone in. But ultimately, a very, very, very bad form for Rovers and a terrible result ultimately at home. It was going to be tough anyway. Middlesbrough are one of those sides competing for not just a playoff spot, but probably even thinking about automatics as well. They are competing with the big boys, and they are a well-oiled machine from Tony Pulis. It might not be the most attractive football to the eye, but it is a business-like performance. Get themselves 3 points over the line. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the stats here down the bottom there. Total shots, here we go. This is how bad it was. We are the orange, by the way. Middlesbrough are the blue. Total shots on the day, Middlesbrough 26, Rovers just 5. Possession-wise, just shaded as well for Middlesbrough, let's say 51% compared to 49 for Rovers. Pass success rate, again, better for Borough. 80% of their passes went to their intended target. We also had 72% of our passes reached their intended target. Dribbles, again, more prominent for Middlesbrough. The only thing that we seemed to dominate was the aerial battles, 26-20. They had more corners as well. So our set-piece opportunities were very limited. Into starting lineups. And again, this was a very, very bold, brave, and probably a little bit too brave starting 11 for Rovers, with Mowbray opting for pretty much all our attacking dynamos on the field at the same time. When I say that, I'm using Brereton as an attacking dynamo. Williams, Mulgrew, Rodwell, Bennett, Evans, Reed, Dack, Armstrong, Brereton, and Graham. Yeah, so when you think about our options for the bench, Rothwell was out. I think his wife or other half is having a baby as we speak. So he wasn't an option. The only other options from the bench, attacking-wise, would have been Conway and Nuttall. Travis did come on, Bell came on, and Nyambe came on. Bell, obviously, maybe rejuvenated from that game against Reading, despite their loss and the goal. I think he got man of the match. I think he was awarded man of the match. So that goes to show a 45-minute performance by Amari Bell from the substitute bench gave him the man of the match. So what happened to the rest of the boys out there? Pretty shambolic. Mulgrew had an absolute... In fact, let's go and take a look at my match ratings. I'm probably a little bit being very generous with Mulgrew's match rating. But anyway, Williams with a 2, obviously, sent off. Raya with a 7. Obviously, I thought he was my standout, definitely for the start 11. He did have a couple of world-class saves. And who knows if we didn't have him on the field, and maybe if we had Jason Steele back in the net. Whew, we could have been on the bit. Oh, can't get my words out. We would have been on a bit of a spanking. But anyway, Mulgrew with a 4, Rodwell with a 5, Bennett with a 5. Travis didn't play. Evans got a 4, Reed got a 5, Dack got a 6, Armstrong with a 5, Brereton with a 4, and Graham with a 6. So, and I'm a little bit generous with a lot of these numbers when I look at these again. probably much worse than that, if we're honest. But anyway, the second half, there was some encouraging signs by Rovers, despite, you know, playing against a high flyers such as Middlesbrough with 10 men. You know, to kind of come out the second half anyway on level playing field is something to a little bit proud of. But ultimately, we weren't good enough today from the get go. I think they do need a bit of a jump start, Rovers, at the moment. I don't know where that's going to come from. If it's going to come from the personnel, a lot of people. There was a lot of unhappy Rovers fans out there saying that the writing's on the wall for us. If it's not this season, it'll be next season. And there is some concern. We'll take a look at those fan inputs in a little bit later. Anyway, take a look at the Middlesbrough lineup. Randolph in goal, Friend, Fry, and Shottermere, the makeshift back three. Basic, John Obi Mikel, who was obviously world class. Well, I won't say world class, but definitely a step above this championship level. Saville, Howson, Fletcher, Assombalonga, and Wing. I knew Assombalonga would score as soon as I saw him on the sheet. Anyway, some more stats for you here. Middlesbrough had more passes, 405 to our 401. They had more touches, 613 to our 590. Clearances, they had more of those as well. But yeah, just look at the orange stats. We're at home, boys and girls. We're at home, and we're getting absolutely force-fed by Middlesbrough. Not in a good way as well. And if you're a heat map man just like me, take a look at it. The red splurge, that's David Raya, kept busy throughout the 90 minutes. And fortunately for us, we have him between the sticks. And he made it just the 1-0. What else we got for you? A quick look at some of the results elsewhere this weekend. Obviously, a bit of a hodgepodge weekend. Obviously, a lot of FA Cup going on as well. So a lot of teams playing midweek. But Villa lost again. Rotherham and Sheff Wed with an entertaining 2-2 draw. Preston and Nottingham Forest with a 0-0 draw. Norwich continued to score a load of goals. 4-0 against Bolton. Ipswich Town with a late level against Stoke. And Sheffield United also smashing goals against Reading. And this is what the table looks like. Norwich are top of the pops by 2 points. Clear of Sheffield United, who are in second. Leeds game in hand on those guys in third. West Brom fourth. Now Middlesbrough are in fifth. With a outside shot of the old top two, and Bristol City in sixth. Ipswich, Bolton and Rotherham make up the bottom three. Rovers, though, in 14th spot, 2-point cushion over Sheffield Wednesday. Brentford could close the gap as well, though, with a game in hand. And it is still tight. I know a lot of people are on the bandwagon here. We have played a lot of an extra game, considering Hull, Swansea and Birmingham, who we play next. But a win for us in our next game could see us rise above as ninth. So it's not all that terrible. It's just so congested, and obviously the feeling of losing as many games as we've lost right now in a row is not great. Next up for us, though, is Birmingham City at St Andrews next Saturday. Obviously kickoff times, depending on where you are in the world. Also, Middlesbrough will be taking on QPR as well. Hopefully they might get back to winning, or continue their winning thing. Obviously today they won. Mill against Preston, Sheffield Wednesday against Swansea, Wigan against Ipswich, bottom table. Come on Ipswich! Reading against Rotherham. Come on somebody! I don't know who I want to win that game. Stoke against Villa, tasty. Brentford against Hull, another tasty one. West Brom against Sheffield United, that is a very, very juicy one. Leeds against Bolton. And Nottingham Forest against Derby. Now, you've heard a little bit what I've had to say about the match. What did the gaffer have to say? Shortly after the final whistle, here he is with his verdict.
Well, I didn't recognise many of them first half, I'd have to say. I'm not sure. I've been here 2 years next week. I'm not sure we played that badly over a 45-minute spell in any games in that 2 years. Didn't turn up, didn't compete. I'm not sure where it came from. Our second half was better. Second half we give it a go against a good team with an extra man. Created some chances as did they, but nearly sneaked some towards the end. So second half was obviously much better. First half we don't want to see any performances of that level ever again here at Ewood, I would suggest. Both, I would suggest. You have to give the team the best chance to try and get a result against what you see you're playing against. The team needed some energy on the pitch, some drive. I do. Every manager sits after defeats and thinks, could you have done something different? Could you pick different players? Ultimately, what the game needed, what our team needed, was some emotion and some passion and some people playing forward, passing forward, running forward, tackling people, competing for headers. The basics of football, really, which was unfortunately for us, lacking in large amounts for staff. No, we were just getting overrun a little bit and almost had like a four-man midfield really, with two sitters and two playing in front. We wanted to play the way we play and ask questions of them, and yet if you don't ever pass forward, you're never going to ask questions. You can see why second half playing forward, Danny Graham can give any defender in this league a problem, and opposition benches started moaning that he's fouling and stuff, and referees have got decisions to make with, because he's a very experienced player and he can use his body and his hips to ease people out of the way, and he gets you up the pitch and it gets people around the ball. We didn't do any of that for staff. We messed around, tipping, tapping in our own half, allowing them to press onto us, and then they had extra men in midfield, and there was just a lack of urgency and a lack of energy to get the ball going forward, I think, for staff, and that needed to change, and we tried to change it at half time. I haven't seen it back, other than I know he was the striker was goal side of the last defender, ridiculous. We had a free header that came off the top of our centre half's head and went back towards his own goal, which put the boy through. It wasn't a great bit of play from them. It was a goal kick, I think, that we headed off the top of our head and put him through. So, uncharacteristic. The referee makes a decision. Bottom line, if it had been a penalty, he'd have got a yellow card. It was outside the box, so he gets a red card. He was last man. Very similar to the Danny Graham situation very late in the game, when Danny's goal side of their last defender running through on goal, and yet Danny stays on his feet and tries to stick it in the net. Being interested if Danny had gone down and what would have happened in that situation. But listen, a frustrating day for us, or a frustrating 45 minutes.
As you say, second half, a bit more of what we'd expected from one of your teams. A lot of endeavour and some chances created as well.
Yeah, I think so, because we passed the ball forward. I'm not sure where that came from. We for 2 years now we've been preaching habits to this team, and they all seem to go out the window for 45 minutes today.
And now about a little bit what I had to say and the gaffers had to say. What did the opposition fans have to say about it? Here's John Gunt, who's a Middlesbrough supporter. He's been with us all week, and here he is once again with his verdict on the result.
So it was Borough win 1-0. Really, really good first half. Mulgrew with a terrible mistake. He really didn't have a good game. He put a couple of decent crosses in the box from set pieces though. Borough looking really dominant in the first half. It was nice seeing Ashley Fletcher and Brit Assombalonga having that partnership up front. Seemed to do really well. The red cards, again, mistake by Mulgrew, seemed to mean his teammate had to make up for it and got a red card. Probably was, you see players get away with it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It was one of them. Come out in the second half, and Blackburn, to be fair, did really well in the second half. Probably the better team, although it did seem that Middlesbrough weren't really going for it anymore. They were just kind of going through the motions. Bell for Blackburn was really good at left back. First time I've seen him or noticed him, he looked like a really good player. Both teams had chances. Great save by Randolph, doing what he does. Another clean sheet. Middlesbrough had a couple of other chances, some half chances. We almost saw that a wing special, but it hit the bar and came out. It was a good performance. Man of the match, probably John Obi Mikel.
Now, what about elsewhere on the old social media? It is not good reading for a Rovers fan. Let's take a look at some of the comments. I'm being kind here because a lot of the ones out there are nasty. John Rogan said this terrible first half, some blamed on individuals, some on where the individuals were placed on the pitch. Valiant performance in the second half and terribly unlucky not to at least get a point out of it. Players to note: Travis, Reed, Bell, Bennett, and not least David Raya. Talk of Ewood said this, not ideal, but that's how the championship works. Go on a great run, then it all changes and we find ourselves on a poor one. I'm sure the next great run is just around the corner. Keep supporting. #Rovers. Well said. Talk of Ewood. Meanwhile, Mike Delap said this, not sure what Mulgrew had been smoking this morning, but he had an absolute stinker today. Really poor and lacked composure, which is normally his main attribute. Andrew Wilding said this, that second half was what we needed to do in the first. What a fight. Well done, lads. Chins up. On to the next game. Bennett, Raya, stand out for me. Fantastic all game. Emma Douglas on the flip side said this, We deserve absolutely nothing from this game. Awful, hashtag Rovers. Northern Rover said this. Better second half, but reality is that it was very poor performance. So many issues all over the pitch to address. Cannot believe that all afternoon we could not deal with the long balls over the top. Need to be better than this. A couple more on Twitter. Callum Prescott said it's hard to argue with the 3 subs today. Nyambi was arguably our best centre-half today, making a few crucial blocks. Bell was always looking to beat his man and delivered a few fantastic crosses. Travis was all over the park when he came on. Never stopped running. Yes, so he kind of made up for the shortfall, I guess, with the man advantage for Middlesbrough. Matt Stilto said this. Rovers unrecognised in the first half, much better in the second half, but damage was done with going down to 10 men and a nice snapshot of Ewood Park. Now, if you want to check out some more comments, why don't you head over to the brfcs.com forum with, there's a lot of disgruntledness out there. Super Nico, with his essay here, said this. A few essentials for me for the rest of the season and looking on to next year. Nyambi has to start right back. Bennett is a utility squad player, lots of graft but little quality. He isn't a right back. Williams should never play for us again if we want to progress. The red wasn't helped by Mulgrew, but regardless, he isn't good enough. Reed and Travis have to start in the centre together. If Tony is going to persist with this formation, similar to the above, we will never progress if Evans and Smallwood continue to play. But Smallwood was not on the pitch today, I must admit, for that. But, maybe... I don't know. Armstrong is a League One player at best. His end product is similar to Chorley's level. He's fast, but that is his only outlet. When Chapman is up to speed, let's give him a go in this position and find a winger for the opposite side. Again, if Tony's persisting with this formation. Mulgrew isn't up to the championship. Saved with set pieces too often. He simply cannot defend. We really need to strengthen here in the summer. Our defence is woeful. Dack isn't a Premier League player, but he is key to when we play well. Raya, Nyambi, Travis, Reed, Dack, Graham are probably the only players worthy of must starts. One is getting too old and another is on loan. It all may sound harsh or negative, but in my eyes, it's reality. We have a long, long way to go. Despite occasional good spells and getting close to the playoffs, G has consistently had us down as a bottom 8 team throughout the season. We simply allow far too many shots opportunities and create very little. Meanwhile, some other folks on the old BIFCS.com forum. Philip L. Bell, Nyambi and Travis brought energy to the team, right? Outstanding. Mulgrew, unusually fragile. Every Rovers player in the first half was losing their personal battles. On that showing, Obi Mikel is inspired sign for Borough and they are serious contenders for automatic promotion with a game in hand over the top 2. Certainly showed how to close out a game when leading by a single goal. Hint, hint. One Phil T. A more positive side would have taken us apart today. We just totally have devoured of confidence. We really need Chapman to come into the fold and give everybody a boost. Bell did very well when he came on. Mulgrew was the worst player on the pitch. It's not a good sign when your captain is making silly and basic mistakes and looking like Bambi on ice. I just hope that we can finish this season solidly. Now that the playoffs monkey is off our backs, let's just get our confidence back, pick enough points up to see us finish comfortably away from danger. I think we can cope for. That's all I can think we can cope for now. Woo! And Micah said this, disappointing result and performance. Season well and truly over now. I think it's been easy to forget this season because we were doing so well early on, but this is a side with primarily consists of players playing the championship for the first or second season. Our only players with any Premier League experience are Graham, Bennett and Rodwell. Compare that with Borough's team, which is filled with players that have either Premier League experience or season championship players like Assombalonga. Well, we've done okay this season. We've done okay this season, but this was never a promotion-winning team. Obviously, this was never going to be a promotion-chasing team for Blackburn Rovers, but our good start to the season, obviously coming in the back of the League One promotion campaign, the momentum was with us. We're surprising a few teams along the way, but slowly but surely we're getting found out a little bit. We are relying too heavily on certain players, and if they're not performing, we don't really have a backup plan. There is a lot of disgruntled fans out there, and a lot of people are getting on Mowbray's case a little bit, but ultimately, he barely, he nearly got us survival in the first case in the championship. But he got us back at the first attempt. This is his first crack at the championship with a team which is pretty much a League One side. So let's hold off that front a little bit, boys. Let's give him another season, see what he could do with hopefully a revamped squad. We do need to increase. I don't know. I had a little bit of flack myself midweek about saying that we need 6 experienced players to come into this. Obviously, yeah, I'd love it if the players that stepped up through the academy made the grade. But this is the championship. It is a very, very hard league, probably one of the hardest leagues to get promoted out of. I don't think if we want, and I want success pretty soon. I don't expect it overnight, but I'm hoping that we can get promoted to the Premier League with Mowbray in charge. And I think there is a chance that we could maybe build something that could battle realistically for playoffs next season if we could keep the quality that we have, remove some of the dead wood, and replace it with some experienced heads. For I don't know how long we've been playing Mulgrew at centre back, and yes, it is a very, very hot topic, because he does offer. He's a great team leader. He's an excellent set piece taker. But is he the best centre back in the league? Heck no. Is he the best centre back in League One? No way. By a country mile. He's living he's making his earning because of his attributes he brings to the team, and obviously his set pieces. You know, where else can we play him? You know, and I don't think he offers anything from the bench as well. He wouldn't be an impact player. He doesn't have the stamina or the pace or anything. So he is an issue. But you know, I don't want him elsewhere. I think he does offer some elements to the team that if they were removed, I think the team would go backwards. So it's very difficult. That's Mowbray's problem. It's not mine, fortunately. But anyway, I have jabbered on a little bit too much about it. It is a bitter one to swallow. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash a thumbs up. If you're new, smash a subscribe. We're going to be back in a very, very short time, probably Monday, Tuesday, with a preview of the Birmingham City match, which is at St Andrews. So hopefully we can get ourselves back to winning ways. It is difficult at the moment. 4 defeats on the spin. In a period, I thought we could actually culminate and get some points on the board, but right now it's looking difficult. Whenever that first win comes around, hopefully it is very soon, and maybe we can get ourselves into the old mid-table zone and just alleviate some of this pressure. Anyway, I'm gonna let you get out of it. Until I see you again, thumbs up, subscribe. Ciao for now. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.